everyone, it's Sandy with Solar Power Health. Today I'm going to show you how to make a yummy dill and tahini sauce, or dill cream sauce, but we have a secret ingredient, pine pollen. I feel like that's just synonymous with this season because this is the mating season. We're getting onto that Beltane energy where everything gets Twitter-pated and all the animals and trees are just ready to create. So pine pollen is an adaptogenic herb that it basically knows where to go in your body and what to do. It's used to balance estrogen levels and testosterone levels in the body. Very supportive for the endocrine system, also the immune system. It's also a tonic herb, so this herb can be used as a medicine for long periods of time, and it doesn't actually build up toxicity in the body. It's really a phenomenal herb. You're going to want to get broken cell wall pine pollen, but if you find your own, you're lucky to go out hiking and find some trees. It's just very tasty. Goes well with many things. Today we're pairing it with dill. So tahini is my favorite ingredient to make into so many things. Desserts, cheese sauces, any sauce really. I make it into a lot of elixirs too. It's very high in good fats and proteins. The beautiful thing about tahini is sesame seeds are one of the most absorbable ways of getting calcium in our body. So those of you who struggle with osteoporosis, we've been taught for so many years to go to the dairy industry, but when we cause inflammation in the body actually pulls calcium out of the bones to try to tamper that. So dairy actually is one of the leading causes of osteoporosis. So if you are trying to build your bones or prevent that in any way, tahini is your go-to. It's so balanced with bright minerals and it's just good for you, and it's delicious. So we've got half a cup of tahini here. I like to get organic raw tahini when possible, but if not, you can just get normal tahini. So we're gonna pour that into our blender, half a cup of tahini. And then we have a quarter cup of fresh squeezed lemon juice. We have half a cup of room temperature water. You want your tahini and your water to be room temperature. So half a cup of water, room temperature. We have some spices here. I have half a teaspoon, maybe heaping a little bit because I love salt, and paprika, which I also love, so another heaping teaspoon. But you want to be between the half a teaspoon to full teaspoon, depending on your taste. So 1/2 heaping teaspoon salt, 1/2 heaping teaspoon paprika. In here I have a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. We're gonna add that. I have 2 tablespoons of extra virgin first cold pressed organic olive oil. The quality of your spices and your oils is very important. It's so easy to go for the cheap brands, but a lot of times you're getting pretty toxic vegetable oils and other stuff slipped in there, all in the name of the mighty dollar. We have 2 garlic cloves. I'm using 2 because they're quite small. You could use 1 big one as well. Depends on how much you love garlic. Boom. And then we're gonna add our pine pollen. So I'm gonna add about half a teaspoon of pine pollen. Again, it's up to your taste. I eat a lot of herbs and I can get most anything down if I know it's good for me. So make sure that you start small. You can always add more. With pine pollen, you don't want to go over a teaspoon. A daily serving would be about 1/2 teaspoon. So we're going to blend this, and we're going to add the dill after that. That way, as it sits, it gets nice and green flecked, and instead of turning our sauce green. So it's really pretty. So I'm gonna give this a blend, and I'm gonna let it slightly heat up in my high-speed blender. If you don't have a high-speed blender, you don't have to let it heat up with friction. You can gently warm it, or it's fine either way. when you put it in the fridge, it's gonna get colder. So we will be back in a second, and this will be ready to go, and I'm gonna show you how to make it into a very easy, simple meal. And hopefully this is something that you can help balance your nutritious regime, or give you some ideas or inspiration on how to eat healthy. Be right back. And we're back. So I'm going to pour the tahini sauce into a mixing or measuring cup. Bowl works, there's no rules. Get that out of the way. And now we're gonna add our dill. So if you have fresh dill, you would use about 1 full cup, just minced very, very fine. Dry dill, you're gonna use about 1/4 of a cup. So I'm gonna add that into our sauce and give it a quick little stir. This way it's gonna retain its color to some degree, but we're gonna get those yummy flecks, and it's just gonna be beautifully pretty. I like pretty things. And I also love dill. So the benefits of dill are it's used as a digestive, and it's also another herb that's very, very good for the bones. So dill is a great way to get those bowel movements regular if you need to, and if your tummy gets upset a lot when you're eating. So this is how I'm going to prepare my dinner. I have roasted some portobello mushrooms in the oven. I did it at 400 for about 20 minutes, just threw them in there. And then I have some cabbage and sprouted brown rice. So the cabbage I just literally threw in the frying pan, and I kind of get lost sometimes on social media. So it gets nice and caramelized. And I just add a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I had some sprouted grain rice that I had cooked a couple days ago left in the fridge. So I just threw some of that in there as well. So that's what we're gonna stuff. Pardon my use of my fingers here, but I forget stuff like spoons sometimes. So I'm gonna throw that into our portobello cups, making quite a beautiful little mess here. By the way, this tahini sauce, you don't need the mushrooms. If you're not a mushroom person, the cabbage and rice with this sauce is to die for on its own. So we have portobello mushrooms, a little bit of cabbage, and a little bit of rice. Pretty simple so far. And then we have our delicious pine pollen and tahini dill sauce that we're gonna just give a center it, so when I take pictures it's beautiful. And we're gonna give that a drizzle over. It's gonna be very creamy, which is awesome. When you put it in the fridge, it will harden, but just let it go back to room temperature and everything will be all right. Voila. This, well, one of these will be my dinner tonight. So super simple, super easy, super nutritious. I hope this gave you some ideas, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Much love and many blessings.